Hello to you today. Kai back with you to share this card that I've done using Technique Junkies stamp called City Watercolors and a sentiment stamp also from Technique Junkies called Life is Beautiful. For a change, I decided that I was going to use my Nuvo Aqua Flow brushes that I have had for several months and haven't used until now. They come in, this set is the winter set. It comes in Indigo Dawn, an Azure Blue, and Obsidian Black. And I'm stamping with Ranger's Archival ink in Jet Black. And I'm using Fabriano Hot Press watercolor paper. And just for those who want to know, I'm using an Escada Reserve brush, number 4, to do this, as this is kind of a tight area for what I want to do. So I start, of course, by stamping, making sure I've got a good impression. I'm using a brand new ink pad, so this isn't very difficult to get. And of course a brand new stamp. So everything's good. So I make sure that I've got good ink coverage on the stamp. I'm using my Mini Misty, my most favorite tool ever. And there we go. Looking good, I think. So these, I wasn't sure exactly. I had this vision or an idea in my head how these brushes, these Aqua Flow brushes would work. I think the colors are going to be brilliant. And I was thinking, I should say, and as it turned out, they are. They're really quite lovely. And so, in some cases during this, I use the pens or direct to paper. Other times, I lay down the color on my work surface there and pick it up with my brush. So, it just depends on where I'm at. I definitely lay down the black as I'm only wanting to turn it into, I'm wanting to turn it into gray, and of course that takes a lot of water to do that because it's a very rich black, beautiful black. Actually the purple and the blue are quite nice. I really enjoyed doing this card, and it worked out exactly the way I wanted it to, so I was very pleased with the outcome, which is a good thing, I guess, because I ordered more of these Aqua Flow brushes to play with and have some fun with, so something to look forward to in the future. So this is it's kind of a long process. I mean, it's took me about, I don't know, 15 minutes to paint it, so I'm going to speed up the video. I won't bore you with this part. I'll speed up the video and let you watch that part. I'll try and add some music while that's going on, and then I'll come back in towards the end and see how you're all doing. So just hang on just a second. So I'm back with you now, and I hope you enjoyed that little rendition of music along with the watercoloring sped up a bit. I've now I'm going to be using Wink of Stella over the next little bit. I'm using the clear, the silver, and the gold. I'm using the gold right now. I'm putting it on the street lamps and the street lights, and then I use the gold and to make the street lights on a yellow light, so ours is a gold light, and add the clear on some of the windows, not all, and up the side of one of the buildings at the very top that's shooting out the top, I'm taking those to be glass buildings, which is why they're in the light gray. They're obviously facing north with the water being on the other side of this street. That's all my imagination, of course. Anyway, so I'm adding some of the Wink of Stella. I'm even watering down a bit, but here I'm just using the clear, and then I pretty well move on. I think it's done, and what I want to do now is add the sentiment. But first I'm going to mat it in some purple, which you can see it's underneath my Misty right now, and it's attached to a white Nina card base. And for the sentiment, I want to, I've cut a piece of vellum with the left side being on an angle, and I'm going to stamp onto the vellum. I'm just lining up my stamp, and then I'll put the piece of vellum over top to make sure that it's lined up for the stamping. Nothing worse than getting it not in the right spot. And I also use some vellum tape to adhere it to the card. And here I struggle with the magnets. They're so strong. In any event, and when I'm using manganese blue here, Ranger's Archival Manganese Blue, to do the stamping. Just a couple passes. It looks in the picture, when you're looking at it direct on, it doesn't look like it's very dark, but it works out very nicely. I like the way the sentiment looks on the card. So when I use some vellum tape, I think that's where I cut off before I use some vellum tape to attach it to the front of the card. So you can see I kind of have it on an angle, which is perfect because I didn't deal with the people. I kind of just ignored the fact that they were there, and the sentiment kind of takes care of that. So I'm going to add a few gems to the vellum piece to finish it off. I'm using Nuvo adhesive. I was originally just going to put 2 on, but I changed my mind and added 3. I'm using my pickup stick to pick up the gems. Just makes everything so much easier. You can use this end to put the gems in place and to move them. You can also use that end to flip them over, like I'm going to do now, and get them in the right spot. I really like the way this card turned out. I really like the way the Nuvo Aqua Flow brushes work. I like how the color lays down. So I think it worked out to be a nice card, I think. So I'm very happy with them. I would highly recommend them to anybody who's wondering about them. So that's it, and I thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you the next time. If you wouldn't mind, give me a thumbs up while watching on YouTube. Take care and bye for now.